Welcome, dear souls, to the chilling world of Mrs.Ghastly, where the night never sleeps, and neither do your fears. Each story you hear is a glimpse into the unknown, tales of terror from across the world, waiting to haunt your hearts long after the screen goes dark. If you love the thrill of the eerie and the whispers of the damned, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell.
The ER was unusually quiet. Only one patient remained, according to the log. Room 406. But that was strange because I had checked that room earlier. It was empty. Thinking there must have been a mistake, I grabbed a chart and walked down the dimly lit hallway. My footsteps echoed as I reached the slightly open door. Inside, the room was dark, but I could make out a figure lying in the bed. An elderly man. His skin was pale, his eyes wide and unblinking as he stared at the ceiling. "Sir?" I asked softly, stepping closer. No response. Then my radio crackled. "Nina, room 406 is empty. Don't go in there." A chill shot up my spine. My hand froze on the doorframe. I slowly turned my head back toward the bed, but the old man was no longer looking at the ceiling. He was staring directly at me, his mouth stretched into an unnatural grin. The lights flickered. My breath caught in my throat as the air around me grew ice cold, and then darkness. When the lights came back, the bed was empty. The sheets were still warm. I ran out of there, nearly tripping over myself, but as I reached the nurse's station, my stomach dropped. Written across the patient logs in shaky, smeared handwriting were two words: "I see you." That was my last shift at that hospital.
Hope you enjoyed Tiffany's story. Now here's Rebecca's terrifying story.
Working the night shift at a gas station was never my dream job, but it paid the bills. The worst part, the isolation. That night, just after midnight, the bell above the door jingled. I looked up from my phone and felt my blood run cold. A man walked in wearing an old-fashioned suit. His hair was slicked back, and his clothes were soaking wet, dripping water onto the floor. He didn't speak, didn't buy anything, just stared at me. Rough night?" I joked nervously. "Nothing." After a long, uncomfortable silence, he turned and walked out. But when I looked down, my stomach twisted. Wet footprints led into the store, but none led out. I rushed to lock the door. My hands were shaking as I checked the security monitor. My breath caught in my throat. The man was still standing outside, watching. I grabbed my radio. "Hey, there's a guy outside. You seeing this?" Static. Then, a whisper, "Don't move. He's behind you." I spun around so fast I nearly fell, but nothing. Shaking, I turned back to the monitor. The man was gone. But there on the glass door, written in smeared water, were three words: "See you soon." I quit the next morning.
Rebecca works from home now. Now on to Brianna's story.
I used to love working the night shift at the warehouse. It was peaceful, quiet. But after that night, I never set foot in there again. It started small. Boxes shifting when no one was there. The faint sound of whispering when I was alone in the aisles. I told myself it was just my imagination, until I saw it. A shadow tall and thin moving at the end of the aisle. I froze. "Hello?" My voice cracked. No response. I took a step forward, and suddenly the shadow was closer. I turned and ran, weaving through the maze of shelves. But no matter where I turned, it was always ahead of me. It wasn't chasing me. It was waiting. I finally made it to the break room, slamming the door shut behind me. My heart felt like it was going to explode. I called security. They checked the cameras. There was nothing there. No shadow. No movement. But the next morning, when I went to grab my things, I saw it. A single, human-like footprint in the middle of the warehouse floor. Just one.
Brianna's story scared me. Time for Bethany's story. Here we go.
I worked the night shift at a high-end hotel. It was easy money until the elevator started acting up. Every night at exactly 2:30 a.m., the elevator doors would open in the lobby. No one would step out. I told myself it was just a glitch. But then, on the fourth night I saw her. As the doors slid open, I caught a glimpse of something in the reflection of the polished elevator walls. A woman, standing in the far corner, but the elevator was empty. I felt sick. My hands shook as I rewound the security footage, frame by frame. At first, the elevator was empty. Then just for one frame she was there. The phone at the front desk rang. I hesitated before answering. A whisper, "Don't take the stairs." My blood ran cold. The elevator dinged. I turned slowly as the doors slid open once more. This time I heard it. Footsteps. Coming out. I walked out of that hotel at sunrise and never went back.
Thank you for watching, but be careful, some stories stay with you long after the screen goes dark. If you enjoyed this tale of terror, like the video, subscribe to Mrs. Ghastly and hit the bell so you never miss another nightmare. Until next time, sleep well if you can.